Thank you for having green tea with me,
Absolutely.
and thank you for your time. You have written an article on the Snowball Effect. Tell me a little bit about that.
First blog I've ever written, to be fair. So I was looking for a hook to
Yeah.
bring people in and so on. And it's snowing at the moment. So as I was writing this, I was looking out the window at the snow. And yeah, I guess the idea just sort of come to me, the thought of the snowball and then the momentum and the snowball effect growing. And I'm kind of relating that to the journey that I guess I've been on in particular at Cumberland School. You know, I've worked here for a long time. And
When did you start working in Cumberland?
so I was an NQT in Cumberland.
Wow.
So this is my 16th year here.
Wow.
Yeah, so a long time ago.
So the first 5 years, how did Cumberland look like? Next 5 years, last 6 years.
Okay, so I guess, you know, I changed a lot during that time as well. So my first 5 years here, I've got to say a lot of it was about survival. You know, education was very different then. And, you know, you felt like you wanted to get to the end of the day, right? You know,
Right.
you wanted to
Really?
get to the end of the day.
Why?
Back then, yeah,
Why?
15 years ago.
Students are giving you a rough time?
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
3 things that was most challenging for teachers.
Behaviour and engagement would have been massively challenging for the new
How
teacher.
did student behavior? As an example, the outrageous behavior during that time. common outrageous behavior.
Okay, really? All right.
Go
So
on.
I remember being in NQT, and I'm a drama teacher. So I had a class in my first year, and their sole mission was to work as a pack to get the lights switched off. Because once the lights went off, it was pitch black in the room, and then they'd have a massive bundle
Right.
in the middle of the drama studio. It was about the time, I think it was Jurassic Park must have been coming out around this time. So I always remember it. I remember thinking of them like velociraptors. Do you know what I mean? I used to work in packs.
God, that sounds immensely fun. I can imagine myself doing it. I don't blame them, to be honest.
Well, you know, it was a crazy time. I guess what was missing was a clear direction, but I don't think there was the foundation of knowing it was going to work. And then we started working with you guys, and then we joined the CST. And the interesting thing about that change, I think, at that time was things that we would now look back on and say, why wasn't we doing that for 10 years? You know, I think it's very easy to get set in your perception of what is doable and what isn't doable.
Okay, so just let's talk about 3 significant strategies, if you like, that you were involved in the last few years.
So the massive one for me is that it points out in the blog was the embedding and the rollout of Dpr. When we rolled out Dpr, what became very apparent to me is that a lot of people know what they want to say about their subject and about the curriculum, but they don't know how to say it. There isn't a common language in place, right? And for me, the real hook for staff and kids and parents was that it gave us all a common language to at least have a starting point, right? To say, right, these are the things we don't know,
Yeah.
these are the things we do know. But before, we couldn't really articulate that in any one particular way.
Yeah.
And so for me, that was a really important thing. And then as I worked with the DPR and embedding it into the staff, to see how embedded it has become into the practice of our teaching staff and therefore into the daily routine of our pupils.
But I think you had a lot to play in your part. You made it work. So some of the things that you have done to make it work. Technology is not everyone's cup of tea.
Yeah.
There's a
true.
lot of discussion around using technology to aid learning.
Yeah.
And we are right now in a virtual world. And the school is probably one of the most creative schools out there
absolutely.
that uses technology well,
Yeah.
that has managed to engage learners in a manner that many schools probably haven't
Yeah.
experienced.
In terms of how we moved to remote learning, the DPR is obviously really useful because it was so embedded into what we do here as a staff body and as a pupil body. So we were starting from probably a better place than a lot of schools were starting from. And I guess as well, because we've got the EDI framework and we've got those structures to the lessons, right? And that consistency. So the kid kind of knows what to expect in that first part of the lesson, the second part of the lesson.
Yeah.
It also frees up what you're thinking about. So you're not thinking about those things, you're thinking about the quality of the content and the quality of the delivery.
We know nationally only 15% of the schools have managed to align their curriculum during the remote virtual lesson that they delivered.
Yeah.
But in Cumberland School, that wasn't the case. Also, the engagement, nationally speaking, the report that came out, I think it's Education Endowment Foundation, the students, children belonging to the middle class family, 40% of them manage to attend a
Right.
full timetable compared to 26% of the children belonging to the working class family. What's our attendance figure?
I mean, it's massive difference, isn't it? So we're at 85%.
Yes, and it's getting better.
And getting better. It kind of, when you hear statistics like that, it puts into perspective the job that we're doing here, actually. It's all the micro decisions that every teacher's making through the day, right? They know that they need to be part of that. They need to be on their door. They need to be moving the kids along. They need to be reinforcing the system. And for me, that's the real power of what we do here. We give a real clear framework to people to say, this is what we're going to do together to move this machine.
There's an ownership. There's a genuine ownership. By
in every aspect, you know. I mean, we started talking about curriculum, but in every aspect, actually, there's an ownership in the idea of the curriculum design. There's an ownership in the idea of your responsibility to improve the pupils' behaviour throughout the day and the speed of travel throughout the day, and down to like